Bloody Christmas. In an event that became known, rather chillingly, as Bloody Christmas, police officers in LA launched a brutal and unprovoked attack on 7 young men, 5 of whom were of Mexican descent. This event, which occurred on December 25, 1951, began with a slight overindulgence in alcohol, both at a police Christmas party in the Central Police Station, at which around 100 officers were in attendance, and at a bar in which the aforementioned 7 men had met for a few beers. The police party received reports that there was underage drinking happening in the bar in question, so 2 officers were dispatched to check things out. They encountered the 7 men, all of whom produced valid identification when asked. Despite this, the officers forcibly ejected them from the bar, which led to a physical fight in the parking lot between the officers and the men. Several hours later, the officers went to the homes of all 7 men and arrested them individually, putting them all in jail. Back at the officers' Christmas party, false rumors were circulating that the fight in the parking lot had caused one of the 2 officers to lose an eye, so a significant number of enraged police traveled down to the jail to brutally injure the prisoners, spurred on by alcohol, unrighteous indignation and the knowledge that the Mexican-American prisoners were powerless at the time. The prisoners' injuries included punctured kidneys and punctured bladders post-attack, with one of them left so near death that the only thing to save his life was multiple consecutive blood transfusions. As many as 50 officers participated in the beatings, and those involved were brought to court. Of these, 8 were indicted, and in due course 1 was cleared, 2 were acquitted, and 5 were convicted of assault under the color of authority. Oscar Grant. The case of Oscar Grant involves the unprovoked and unlawful shooting and killing of the 22-year-old African-American Grant. The shooting occurred at Oakland's Fruitvale Station on January 1, 2009. The police officer convicted of shooting Grant is Johannes Mezel. He served only 12 months in prison for his crime, under charges of involuntary manslaughter. The incident occurred when officers responded to reports of a fight on the train platform. Grant was one of those detained on suspicion of being involved. Mezel shot Grant in the back while he was lying on the ground and complying with the officers' wishes. Mezel claimed that he was reaching for his taser and mistook his revolver for the same, but racial tensions and suspicions of racial motives arose due to the fact that Mezel's defense was murky. Mezel refutes claims of racially motivated violence, and claims that he wasn't trying to shoot Grant. Tarika Wilson. In an unthinkably brutal attack, 26-year-old Tarika Wilson was shot at and killed by police in her home in Lima, Ohio, on January 4, 2008. The shooting occurred when a SWAT team came to Wilson's rented house, looking for her partner, Anthony Terry. Terry was wanted for questioning on suspicion of drug dealing. Although Terry was not in the home at the time, the team opened fire on Wilson while she was carrying her 14-month-old son in her arms, killing the mother and wounding the child. It was later confirmed that Wilson had never been suspected of any illegal activity by the police. Wilson was biracial, a factor that seems unavoidably important in her death. Reports from Lima suggest that there is a strong sense of racial discrimination running throughout the police force. Post-shooting, members of the African-American community of the town came forward to say that they regularly had guns pointed in their faces, were stopped without cause and were cursed by local police. The pastor of the New Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church summed up the general feeling in saying there is an evil in this town. Police post-Obama election. By and large, the behavior of Chicago police immediately after the election of President Barack Obama in 2008 was far from textbook. The election of the first African-American president might have been seen as a symbol of movement towards a more equal and open-minded country, but behavior of some of the Chicago police force suggested otherwise. Understandably, there was a lot of African-American celebration in the city on election night. And during the festivities, various white police officers were accused of hate crimes. A family was celebrating the election just outside their home when they were pepper sprayed by officers. After several underage family members ran into the house in fear, the police officers battered down the front door and shouted racial insults before leaving. Another instance in the city saw unmarked police cars containing white officers shadowing a black family driving home on election night. The children cheered for Obama through their open windows, prompting the officers to use pepper spray, shout white power and use racial slurs. An independent police review authority spokeswoman said at the time that the agency received numerous allegations of similar police misconduct on the same night.